Hello and welcome to this edition of Roll with Sports. I'm Tyler Rowland. We're coming to you from Putnam Stadium, and with me is somebody that has a lot of historical ties to the Ashland Tomcats that has now had a lot of success as the head coach of West Jessamine High School. Scott Marsh, what does it feel like coming back to get to coach here again?
Yeah, it's great. There's so, I've coached in Florida, Indiana, Kentucky. There's so few atmospheres like Putnam Stadium. There really are, and you can go all around the country and I've been in some places where football is really important, like it is here in Ashland. But the atmosphere here is second to none. You know what I mean? And so it was important for me, for our kids at West Jessamine to experience this and see what this is like. And because you get done playing football, you're done with your career, and it's the memories of stuff like this is kind of what you take away with you. You don't always remember individual games, but you'll remember, hey, playing in Putnam Stadium.
And when you played at Ashland, of course, you had some memorable games, of course, winning a state championship, and then the Holmes game we talked about a little bit this week. Talk about just some of the first off, winning a state championship here and just what that was like.
Well, it was incredible, and that whole season, the whole playoffs. We beat Bell County in the semifinals right here, and there was a goal line stand that we had to make right here on about the 2-yard line to win that game. And I was just a lowly sophomore on that team, so I was just trying to get any playing time I could, But that I remember that playoff run. We had you'll have to ask Dickie about this one. We had a melee against Clay County, in the first round of the playoffs, and I was on the other sidelines too afraid to run across the field and get involved in it, But it's that whole playoff run from that year was just so special because there were so many really capable teams, and then obviously going to Louisville and for a lot of us, it wasn't like it is today, and heck, for a lot of us, going to Louisville was just a big deal. Getting out of Ashland and going to Louisville and staying in the Galt House there by the fairgrounds, and I just remember that day, being such just a beautiful day. We had an afternoon game, and it was cold, but it was sunny. It was, it was almost like the heavens were shining on us that day, and but all those memories here at Putnam Stadium leading up to that point are just so special and so poignant in my mind.
And talk about your recent years getting into coaching, and now you've had some success at West Jessamine. You're known for turning around programs, which you're well on the way to here. And talk about that and what you've done in recent years.
Well, it's every place is a little bit different, and this is the third program that I've taken over in my career that had been winless, but the year before I took it over, and they're all different, and we've tried to, at West, we've tried to put a premium on the feeder programs and the coaching from the ground level on up, and really turning it into, because we do have a tremendous community in Nicholasville, and it's really a perfect place to build a grassroots program, and we've got great kids, and so it's been a lot of work. It's been hard, but it's been very rewarding at the same time, and getting to spend every day with the kids and families that we have is really been a blessing for me.
Mm-hmm. And at West Jessamine, what's something that, and just in general as a coach, what's something that you feel like has really been helpful to you over the years to turn around, that's worked for you to lead to the success in turning around programs?
And that's a great question. I think you kind of learn what you have to do from step one, and you learn, okay, where do we have to go first, and what I've kind of learned, or what I've kind of felt is the most important thing with us is building the coaching staff, coaching the coaches, and because if there's not continuity on that end, if our kids are, as they're developing, and we're trying to get them better, if they're not hearing the same message day in, day out in the same fashion year after year, it makes development really hard, and chances are at a program that has struggled in the past, there's been a schism in the development there somewhere, between when kids start playing when they're little and by the time they get to, the varsity level at high school. So, I think really just that's what my experience has taught me, is kind of how to prioritize things in terms of where we need to attack first, and what can be done the quickest and what takes the longest,
Mm-hmm. And what do you feel like was your biggest obstacle?
Well, at West, the biggest thing we've had is just, really just kind of getting the kids to believe, and getting them to understand that if they'll, if they'll be coachable and they'll accept the coaching, that, any team in high school is capable of doing great things, if you'll just kind of, focus and do the things that you're being coached to do, and and that took us a little bit of time. That's not easy. It doesn't happen overnight. Kids don't build that trust overnight. But I feel like we've we've kind of turned a corner there, and the kids are just awesome, and it's really a family type of program I think that we have right now.
And last two questions. First off, what's a cool fact about yourself that maybe not a lot of people know?
Cool fact about myself. So this is one that's kind of interesting. So, my dad, being here his whole life and being the head coach here for a long, long time. And, my dad's first cousin is Mickey Krzyzewski, she was Mickey Marsh. So Carol Marsh, Carol's her given name. And so it's Mike Krzyzewski's wife. So, a lot of my friends and friends of our family know this, but, we were kind of a rogue family in Ashland in the 80s, because when everybody was rooting for UK, we were rooting for Duke, in a time when that wasn't very, wasn't the cool thing to do was root for Duke, And so that was always something that was kind of interesting about our family, was we had that connection to Duke and got to go to games there and hang out in the locker room with Christian Laettner and guys like that when I was a kid. So, that was kind of always fun. And, that's Dad's side of the family that goes back to Virginia.
And lastly, Coach, are there any shout-outs you'd like to give?
Well, my mom and dad are going to be here tonight, and Dad's health has been, it's been an up and down year for him, and so it's been a struggle, but he's going to be here tonight, and I think just kind of being back here in this stadium and having my mom and dad here to be a part of it, regardless of what happens on the field tonight, is just a blessing, for our whole family, and it's going to be a blessing for our kids too to be in this atmosphere tonight.
All right, well, Coach, we thank you for your time, and be sure to stay tuned. Keep up with this West Jessamine program. Check local media providers to follow them, and we thank you for watching. I'm Tyler Rowland. This is where you meet the athlete.